The Varlamore Final Dawn reward proposal updates keep rolling in, and everything was canceled is what it looks like. Almost everything was canceled. All of the cool things were canceled. This has been the most back and forth confusing line of communication that we have experienced with Jagex in, I don't know, my recent memory. So originally we were going to get a cape upgrade. The cape upgrade turned into a necklace upgrade. It was going to come from a delve boss, which is like an enraged boss that every time you killed it, you could decide to stay and fight it and get more loot. Most of that has been axed. We'll get to that. There was also going to be a thrall upgrade. So many things just changed. Let's just jump right into where we are at now. Well, I guess before we jump into where we're at now, we need to see where we were at 2 days ago. Okay, so this is what Jagex said to us a couple days ago. Just a small update on where we stand with the proposed rewards for Varlamore the Final Dawn. After a lot of back and forth, both within the team and with the community, we're in a position now where we'd like to pull our current offerings and just see where they're landing so we can figure out any potential further steps. This was insane when they said this. This has gotten so confusing, but these offerings that they were going to pull were going to be the Avernic Treads, so like the combined boots, the Crush Weapon, the Enraged Boss coming into the game, and the new Best in Slot Magic Amulet. All of that was just going to get pulled, even though the community didn't like it. If you went and looked on Twitter and Reddit, there was not a general consensus. Most people actually did not like it. The general consensus was that it wasn't liked. And Jagex came out and said that, hey, we're just gonna pull it anyways, just to see where they're landing. I have an issue with this. Polls are where you go to make decisions. You can't poll us just to see where we're at. That's more of a survey. Polls and surveys are very different. The community was outraged. A lot of people did not like it. Felt like they were circumventing us, which RuneScape is in a weird spot, but we only feel like we deserve this much power because they messed up with EOC. And there's like a sense of we own the game as the player, which is why we always get so mad when Jagex tries to do anything A, we don't like, or B, isn't pulled. The players just take it very personally. So I read this and I took this personally. What do you mean? I actually don't vote in most polls. I don't think my vote really matters. I probably should, but I'm just being honest. I don't really vote. My vote has the same weight as someone who sucks at the game. So I don't know. I don't really care that much. Most things get voted yes to anyways. But regardless, Jagex was going to pull it anyways. At this stage, we believe these rewards are suitable options both thematically and mechanically. So they're saying that they think it's gonna, like, they like the rewards. We'll be working on the Delve boss for a while before the release of Varlamore the Final Dawn. So if we're struck with sudden inspiration or see a fantastic player suggestion, then we still have time to present any new ideas to you and see whether or not you'd like us to include them. You know, that just feels so weird. Present to us what you want to put in the game and we'll vote on it to see if it should go into the game. It's kind of like a pretty simple thing. You don't have to make it this complex. Also in this post, they were talking about how they were going to make the Demonic Mark component now untradeable, while the Eldritch necklace is tradable. Whatever, I don't really care. Who cares? That's just the same way that it works with the Rancor necklace. I don't know if there's any real reason for or against this. Anyways, this pissed a lot of people off. They updated this page the next day after receiving backlash, which has now been changed again. We'll get to that in a second. But then the next day they said, hey, actually, we're not going to pull it. We're really sorry. That was crazy for us to say. We'll get back to you soon with completely new rewards. And now this morning, I wake up, they've gone onto the webpage and they've changed their whole idea again. They are pulling it. They're not just going to pull all of it. So now this is where we're at. Following your feedback after yesterday's update, we've made the decision to hold off on pulling the Delve boss rewards. We understand that as a brand new encounter type in endgame content, it's important that it has rewards you're excited about, and it's clear from your feedback that our current offerings just don't hit the mark. That was beyond clear from the feedback. The Avernic Treads were going to come into the game. The Avernic Treads were going to be incredible. I talked poorly of them. I changed my mind. The Avernic Treads are great. I'm already getting my account ready to go get the Avernic Treads. I don't think people realize how good those treads are going to be. I think they're going to be great. They better make it in the game. I don't think those caught a lot of flack. I think people were looking at them wrong, and I'll probably touch on that. But anyways, we're going to spend some time redesigning the Delve boss rewards to deliver you 2 completely new items and a rework on another. So that's 3 items. We'll be looking to provide solutions to commonly felt gaps within the game already, with a particular focus on magic. Magic Bofa? That's what a lot of people wanted. Well, there's a bunch of, I have some posts that we'll go over talking about the desire for a Bofa equivalent in the magic world. or the magic skill, attack style, whatever. We really want to set expectations here. So based on our current discussions, this is the direction you can expect us to take. All right, here we go. We have their bullet points now. We're still aiming for around 3 pulled rewards for this content, all of which will be tradable. I like that, I think. Interesting that they're already going to set themselves within a box of this has to be tradable. If you're going to go back to the drawing board, why limit yourself? Go back to the drawing board. Get back to us with some new ideas. You don't have to put yourself in this box already. And then they specifically say that, hey, we're going to add a pet and maybe other cosmetic or content specific rewards, but that's going to be on top of these new 3 items that they want to give us. Next bullet point. We would still like to include a version of the Avernic Treads. I love the Avernic Treads, but we will be taking another look at how to make them more exciting and how they'll sit economically. Dude, making them more exciting is going to be crazy. And I think a lot of it has to do with what they say next. We're doing this as we have seen an appetite for moving away from a 9-way gear switch to an 8-way switch. And we're confident we can come back with a rework that fills this desire while being more on par for what you expect from this encounter. I don't know anyone out there that's actually doing 9-way switches in RuneScape. Sure there is. There's not many of them. One guy will pipe up saying, hey, I do it, but no one cares about that guy. In reality, no one is actually doing a 9-way switch. Most people, what they end up doing is if they're in a situation where they would be switching their boots, they usually just are using one pair and they're just going to take that pair of boots off. So that's just going to get rid of any situation where you were taking off boots before. I was never a boot switcher. I was a boot taker offer. Most people are. This is going to be great for you and me. And the fact that they want to make it even better because people don't see how nice that is already is amazing. Now, how they'll sit economically, this could be fun. This could be an item that if they make it rare enough, why not make it so rare that it's worth a bill? You know, I'm okay with that. I want to see Avernic Treads at the G and be like, oh, dang, he's got them. Wow, they're so rare. That's so cool. I want some wow factor. I want some shock. I want people to see that I have and be like, oh, dude, he's got that on his iron. That's crazy. Those are worth a bill. I don't want them worth like nothing. That's going to be hard because you're already combining so many items to make it that are already worth a lot of money. And sometimes we see that item that gets combined to the other items that are worth a lot doesn't end up being worth that much money. If they can make it worth a lot of money, I think that'd be fun. Anyways, I'm glad that they're going to get even better. This is going to be huge. The Avernic Treads, everyone's glancing over them. They're going to be so cool. Also, I love the name Avernic Treads. It's such a good name. Next up, the Eldritch Necklace is going to get dropped and will work on a completely new reward. Oh my gosh. All the pain and suffering, all the talk. I feel like they finally landed on an item that everybody liked. And now we're like, actually, nope, we're getting rid of the Eldritch Necklace. We'll be back to the drawing board on that one. Completely new reward. Like I said previously, I think it will be better if it's an upgrade to the Zenyte, because the Zenyte has a lower Slayer requirement than an upgrade to the Occult. 65 Slayer versus 93 Slayer. It just makes more sense to me. Nobody wants to go get 93 Slayer. No one wants to go do that. We already have to do the crazy crafting grind. And then lastly, they're also going to drop the Crush weapon, the Diabolical Aegis. It was cool that we were going to get it, but I feel like there's bigger gaps that need to be filled other than this one. I mean, this gap was pretty big. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. What am I missing? In terms of Crush weapons, it's like Hosta, Zombie Axe, Scython Crush. Oh, Inquisitor's Mace, but no one goes and gets that because that takes too long. There is a gap there, but like, where am I using these Crush weapon? Everywhere that I feel like I use Crush weapons, my Bofa also just hits. The Bofa's so good. I'm glad they're revisiting that. Maybe we can get something better. There's better gaps to fill, like the Mage Bofa, which they touch on in the next paragraph. We're also strongly considering the gap between Sanguinesti and the Shadow and have loved seeing all the suggestions you've been making. We've collated. I don't know what the word collated means. This is the first time I've ever seen the word collated. We've collated all, I'm imagining it means collected. We've collected all of those we've seen and we'll be considering them while working on our new design. That's what the people want. I don't know if we'll get it. My vibe check to the people, that's what they want. I don't know. I'm not sold that we need it. Maybe there does need to be a gap. Does everything have to be in the game? Maybe it's just we're supposed to shoot the Bofa. Why do we need a Mage Bofa? Go buy a Shadow. The Shadow's the good one. I'd benefit from this, but I don't even know if I want it. I think I do. If the boss is fun to fight, then yeah, I'll want it. But if the boss is not fun to fight, then no, I don't want it. I don't want to have to go to another place. So it's all going to come down to that. Anyways, that's what's going on. Avernic Tread's probably going to make it in. Eldritch Necklace, gone. Crush Weapon, gone. And then they say, we'll be back to pitch our new ideas in a couple weeks. We need a little time to do such a rethink on these rewards. As part of that, we'd really like to be able to focus on the Delve boss going forward. And to do that, we'd like to have the Slayer Dungeon quest and new Nagwa rewards locked down. I bet you this is why when we go back a couple days where they're like, hey, we need to pull this anyways because we want to pull it. They probably just wanted to like get the things that were for sure going to pass the pass so they could get them in. And now they're just going to make a poll on those things separately because they are so separate. We didn't need to have a poll where we're pulling some of the most important gear alongside this new like dragon sim. That's the new melee weapon they're talking about that you get from a quest. It's like a dragon scimitar equivalent. The antler guard is like a prayer version of an Avernic. And then you're just going to have, what are these? Oh yeah, the stab version of two-handed bopping weapons. The tech paddle. Makes sense. And the poll for these will come out tomorrow. They'll pass. They'll be in the game. No one cares. Antler guard's kind of cool. Hopefully you end up using these when you make a new account, or I don't know where they're going to fit. But the biggest update that we've seen this year is now getting postponed. I think that's the right thing to do. It just gets very interesting because they're trying to incorporate the correct rewards with a completely new drop mechanic with this enraged delve system, and they need to nail this right on the head. It's important that they get this one right, because if they don't, it's just going to be a massive flop. Although I think that the Avernic treads were actually strong enough to get people in there. The drop rates were going to have a lot to do with the success of these items and this boss as well. I would like to see Avernic treads. They don't necessarily need to make them better. I see the vision. They're going to be great. Here you go. I'd like to see an upgrade to the Tormented Bracelet, similar to this post on the Reddit. I think in Iron Man progression, it makes more sense. You got to make it beefy. Maybe give it a couple, I don't know. I haven't dove into this, like all this guy's ideas, but give it some magic attack bonus, some magic damage bonus, and then maybe a couple interesting effects, demonic related. Who knows? Who cares? I don't really care that much, but I'd like to see it on the Tormented Bracelet. And then lastly, scrap the crush weapon. The people want a mage equivalent to the Bofa. This only makes sense if the drop rate makes sense. You have to balance the average hours that you would spend here, and it would have to, in a way, feel like grinding for your enhance at the Corrupted Gauntlet. Only way it makes sense. I honestly think it should actually be harder. I don't think people want to hear that, because there's so many Ironmen that have PTSD from grinding for their Bofa. But like, hey, if you want the mage Bofa, go grind for it. Like, it's going to be hard. And then on top of that, I actually think the Avernic treads should still even be more rare. These should be like almost mega rare, I think. I want them to snap necks when you see them. And you're going to have to make them really rare for that to happen. So I went through and I grabbed a couple of the collated suggestions. I collated them. I don't know. I grabbed some of the suggestions from Reddit just to look at them, just so you understand where the community feels like they're at. Honestly, these don't have a lot of upvotes, which is why I'm shocked that I had to search a lot harder than I thought I'd have to search to find these Reddit posts. I remember seeing them as I read the Reddit every day, but going back and finding them, these didn't get a lot of love. So I don't know where else they're seeing the desire for a mage Bofa other than like just these couple posts I posted. I'm not active in their Discord. Maybe it's happening in their Discord, but I read like almost everything that gets at least a couple upvotes on the Reddit every day. This post is about a Bofa Soul Reaper tier powered wand. It does decent damage, but the reason it doesn't do insane damage is because it also heals you. Because it heals you, Jagex didn't give it like a lot of power, because then it would have become too OP. So mage has always been restricted. This guy proposes a new 3-tick powered wand that he claims will carve out a powerful but distinct niche for PVM, akin to the Bofa with its accuracy. Okay, so it would be like an accuracy based item. It will excel in situations where magic defense is prohibitively high without Tunic and Shadow, and where other special attacks are not needed. So yeah, just a 3-tick mage Bofa. Wand would be nice too, because then you can use the offhand. I'm not sold on this one. Also, I'm not a scientist, so I can't perfectly read these gaps. If you just look at the colors, it's essentially just trying to fill the DPS gaps at Akka, Warden, Kriara, the Whisperer, the Olm, and the Niloking of all places. Next up, this guy wants to add a, quotes, magic Bofa to the Delve boss. That's what a lot of people have been saying, the magic Bofa. And the real thing is they just want it to hit. They just want it to be accurate. If you're really trying to like get a feel from the community of what they want, they just want an accurate magic weapon that does consistent, decent damage. They just want a mage Bofa. Give us the mage Bofa, I guess. Pull the mage Bofa. It's what's desired. And I will agree, there's been a lot of posts that the mage Bofa would be a great item from a delve related boss. Don't know if the delve mechanics are going to perfectly translate over to old school RuneScape compared to RS3. See, now I'm just like, I'm thinking it's just what they're trying to do and what people want to happen. And what Jagex is trying to do is just a lot in one update. We're going to introduce Enraged Delve and add a very, very important three very, very important weapons. And it is very overwhelming to perfectly balance all of that. And we haven't even started talking drop rates. This is just how you get the item and what item it is. And that's why this update has been so confusing and there's been so many back and forth, because there's so many moving parts, so many opinions. Kind of fun. This has been like the most drama-filled update. Not lame drama like them wanting to add ads to the game or charging us $33 a month, but like, oh yeah, this is this nitty-gritty nerd stuff. Like, let's fill some gaps. The discourse has been so much fun. This is why I started doing these videos. I hope you've been liking these long form videos. This is the first one I'm doing off stream. I'm trying some new stuff out on the YouTube. So, like it, comment, subscribe. Thank you. I'll keep doing these. I enjoy doing this. Stream, I go on rants. I'm happy I'm like recording them now, giving them to you guys, organizing my thoughts. Oh, okay. This reward suggestion. How old is this post? Oh, this is from 18 hours ago. Okay. This already has a bunch of upvotes. I like this one. A new reward suggestion is just an old one. It's called Siren's Tome. This essentially kind of ended up turning into the ward, but no one uses the ward. The ward's not really good. New reward suggestion. Give us back the coolest looking offhand in the game. It was deleted after it passed the polls with over 80% support. You could get a lot of people to like this just because of how it looks. Like, oh my gosh, that looks so demonic. An offhand, maybe give us an offhand and the wand. And maybe that's they go hand in hand. And that's how it becomes so accurate. You got to get the book and the wand. Kind of like you got to get the crystal armor and the bofa. That's what makes it good. That's what makes it accurate. I like it. I really do. Also make it look cool like that. We're going back to the drawing board. Let's go back to the drawing board. Give me 2 items I gotta get. Make it so that they complement each other. Make it really accurate. Make me hit fat numbers. Make it look cool like that. This passed with 80%. Haters will say this is just the ward, but the ward sucks. Nobody likes it. Anyways, that's like the mage point of view. Let's buff mage. And I'd say most people are part of that gravy train. They want the mage bofa. There's a couple people out there that played this past leagues in RuneScape, and they dabbled with the Sunfire Fanatic weapon. I don't even know what they call this in leagues, but people want this echo weapon in the game. And a lot of people are saying that it actually makes sense. And it's people on Twitter that I respect. I'll read their opinion and I'll be like, hey, maybe he's got a point. I don't know. I'd have to see the DPS calc. Just add this weapon to the new Delve boss. Not only would it buff the Sunfire Fanatic armor and give it a use, but it would also be a dope ass weapon to use and an awesome reward. Pull it Jagex. I like the idea, but why not just give it to the Colosseum? I think there was a comment that said that. Oh yeah, it's the top one. I don't know if they've ever done this, but I honestly think this should be retroactively added to the Colosseum drop table. It fits perfectly with best in slot prayer armor drop. Also, the way the spec works is very fun and unique. It would take the Colosseum drop table from being somewhat boring, very true, but profitable, to actually exciting and profitable. I agree. It'd be really fun. You'd want to go grind out all the armor. You don't even have to give this to the Delve. And the guy right under their comment said, hey, they've done this before. The bofa, literally the bofa, was added to the Corrupted Gauntlet 2 years after it was released. I'm currently grinding out my quivers on my iron to bless my quiver. I'm getting Sunfire Splinters. It'd be awesome if we saw something like this. And maybe this fills that crush. I don't know. It looks like a stab weapon, but maybe that's that crush gap they're trying to fill. I'm just saying, they said they're going back to the drawing board. I'm just chugging out things people like. And I saw some people talking about the DPS. You just have to tone it down a little bit from leagues, to my understanding. I wish I used this weapon and I'd have a better idea of what I'm talking about. The people that did use this weapon and that are smart are saying that you could just make tiny tweaks and the main game is slow enough compared to leagues that this weapon would work. And lastly, this one is a lot of words. This post is a lot of words, but I actually sat here and I read it and I liked it. I have a couple questions. Like, is this an item that you get once that you're adding to it? Is it a charged item? Are we getting this item a lot and we're adding? But it's essentially, it's an ingredient that can be added to, what is this? Is this 4 different things they have here? They have a common drop and an uncommon version. The common one would be an item that would get added to a spirit shield, which almost has no use. And then maybe you could use it. You would make the unholy spirit shield. You get 10% damage reduction against demons. And yeah, I like that. Or you could add it with 3 chromium ingots to an salve amulet, and then the salve amulet, like how it works on the undead, would work on demons. I think that's awesome. That's a good idea. I like the demonic theme. Same thing, you add it with a Saradomin light, okay, to the interesting Saradomin and then demonic to the Slayer helm, and it reduces prayer drain effect by X% and it stacks with spectral. That's cool because the demonic creatures often drain your prayer, like Cerberus and Krill. This is kind of flushed out. I kind of like this idea a lot. I don't know how I found this dude. It has 2 likes, 6 comments. That's not a good ratio, but I think he's got a point. And then what's his other thing at the end? He wants something that can be added to the, oh, it's like another sigil, kind of like corp. I don't know. I don't even know if I want to read this. You're not selling me on this probably. You can't be touching sigils anymore. Yeah, I'm not sold. This I'm sold on. This could be a nice little drop they add. I like it. But yeah, this is where we are. Feels like the 4th, 5th iteration of news regarding the Delve boss. This has been fun. And the fact that they're going back to the drawing board means we get more fun. I really hope that Tread's making it in the game. Everybody wants Mage Bofa. I'll vote yes. Maybe give me an offhand, make it rare, get the delve mechanics right, make the enrage system make sense. I think that's the most important part about everything. The drops are fun, and maybe we're getting hung up on the drops. But yeah, the most important part is that the content makes sense to do. And diving deeper into the delve needs to make sense. A lot of moving parts. I have faith. Okay, and as I was perusing Reddit, I did find one post that I wanted to show you guys. I felt a little scammed. This is 23 days ago. I'm still a little salty. I did leagues. I bought the spirit tree. The picture on the right is what I was promised. Now, the picture on the left is the tree in the house, and they did fix it. It did face the wrong way for a couple days. It's now fixed. But even when it faces the right way, it just looks like what it looks like on the left with a face. Like, look at that glow. I feel like I wanted a little, like, why didn't we get the glow? The glow is kind of why I want it. Now you take the glow away, it's just a really old, dead, scary tree that's not pretty that I spent my points on. So now it's in my house and I'm a little upset. You versus the guy she told you not to worry about. For real though, what is this, man? Fix it. Anyways, I'm excited. Thank you so much for listening. Subscribe, like, check out my Twitch.